All
Awesome.
right.
So,
It's recording, yes. Uh,
so welcome to Thinkman's Circle. And today I've got some new things to try out with you. Um, so here's the thing. I scrapped the book I was working on and started over again. And
oh,
it's going to be a kind of a Tomorrowland book, going, all the different rooms are the different AI occupiers and the data center proliferation and that sort of thing. So what I want to do is pick out three or four cases to show you, just a kind of a blurb on each one, and
mhm,
uh, get your input on which cases you think would be most interesting to you, since you're in
mhm,
the human circle today, you and me. And then
mhm.
what we'll do is we'll base the chapter we're going to write during the week based on your choice, you know?
Okay. Mhm.
Oh, that just so you get some context. And it's called The Enlightenment Paths Through the Tesseract is the title of the
Okay.
book. And
Mhm.
what we're trying to do is find pathways that are dead ends and pathways that are promising. But we realize in a live case, there is no ending. The
Mhm.
context just keeps evolving from week to week and
It's
during our
true.
lifetime. And if our
Mhm.
lifetimes stop, we're not going to keep writing anyway. So, I mean, it's just to. So I had to explain this to the I'm working with. No, it doesn't have an ending. You're in the wrong
Mhm.
format. And then I had to find cases, and I had a really wonderful case that um, my AI rejected because I didn't have permission from LinkedIn to use it. But
Oh,
it was an executives from Microsoft who got downsized from her job at Microsoft, and her job was to develop AI resources and training for the AI resources. But since they figured they wanted to just expand AI to be agential, they didn't need this executive anymore, so they laid her
well,
off. You know,
yeah, yeah. That is so common to what a lot of people are expecting. Couldn't you make a fictive case out of it, knowing that it could happen to any number of people?
well, let me try to do that in a second. I'll show you that case that we're not supposed to talk about, but we
Okay. All
talk
right.
about. I kept arguing with my AI. Look,
Mhm.
I cited its public record, and then
Yeah.
he said, no, you need to get permission. So I
Yeah.
went back to the LinkedIn and I asked I wanted to contact her. Well, to contact her it costs $20 for a question to her now because she's now a
Oh my God.
consultant, and it costs, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars for her to work on the strategy of your company, you know.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so I paid the $20. I was pissed as all hell that I had to
Yeah.
shell out $20 to ask her.
Oh my gosh.
Think I get a what's up thing back that my request went in, and when she's available, she'll get back to me, which could be in a year from now. For 20
So
bucks, it's
for
not even worth
20.
her time to
Yeah.
give me permission. So that led me to teaching this AI about how I did my original research from to Disney and to Tomorrowland. And I said, look, I analyzed Walt Disney. I analyzed Disneyland, theme parks,
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And I did it through publicly available information.
Yeah.
And I would find something, and then all the rooms would have all the other context around that thing because you went to a different room
Mm.
at a different person. Does that make any sense to you that I'm training an AI how to do storytelling?
Yeah. It's for me, it's the best case scenario because you want it to be molded in your direction.
Yeah, so
What
I want line
what I
numbers
don't
on the
know,
case. I want to be able to interpret it. I want you to interpret it. I want context all around it.
yeah,
Just
what I
like,
don't know. Oh, Cassie is here. Cassie,
oh, okay. Now it's just starting again.
I'm
Cassie, we
here.
are recording, so if that's a problem,
Okay.
don't say anything.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I just
Okay, so let me
I
bring
was
you up
like,
to
oh,
date. So I'm
okay,
training
yeah.
this AI how to do the Bakhtin dialogical analyses, all
Okay.
of them, like all the chronotopes, all the stylistics, all the architectronics, all the polyphonic, you know. But
Okay.
in doing that, I had to back up a few steps and just train him how to analyze the story using the Tomorrowland. And I don't know if you've read Tomorrowland. You ever read it?
I haven't. I owe it a service. Yeah,
Okay.
I was a
Tell
little
me about
distracted
it.
trying to get a job and survive my own real life, but yeah, here we are.
All right, a 1 minute intro to Tomorrowland. You go to a mansion. There's a mystery play like Who Done It. You can go to different rooms and see the acting going on in different rooms. It's all simultaneously. So if you go in room 1, you're not in rooms 2 to 10. So if you
Okay.
go to room 2, you're not in 1 and you're not in 3 to 10, you know? So you choose, Cassie chooses, Betty chooses, I choose. We go to different rooms. And then at dinner, we share our data or we see each other in a hall, say, I'm going to room 7 because I'm following up on a lead I got in room 1. I'm following to room 6 because I'm following a lead I got in room 3. So it's this
Okay.
crisscross networking. And at the end, the curtain comes down, the lights go out in the house, somebody's shot dead, and they want to know who done it. But that is not what the play is about, because that's just the fun part. You're actually in Mussolini's mansion. It's 1926. You've got a passport, and it says, "Welcome to Mussolini's mansion," where he's got this military hero in captivity and this gorgeous female painter named Tamara de la Paquita, and she's going to paint a portrait, and they're lovers, and she's going to keep him in alcohol and sex and everything to keep him from being a competition to Mussolini. Mussolini's black shirts are organizing. They want to take over Italy. They want to represent the whole thing. And so if they keep this guy who's their only threat, you know, intoxicated and full of sex. So I don't know. I don't know how to others say it, but it's decadence. They fill him with decadent surroundings,
Yeah.
and they don't want him to do anything else but be decadent. So,
Yeah.
by the way, the plot did work. And
Yeah.
so this is John
That sounds
Krasnick's
right. That's been
play.
my lived experience.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I went to this play when I was teaching in Los Angeles, and I went with the finance professor. The finance professor goes up into the bedrooms of the aristocrats on the top floor. I'm a working class guy, so I follow the maid and the butler around and see what that's about. So it's sort of uh, choose your path, the story you follow from room to room. Now, here's the thing with 10 rooms, or even 6 rooms. Let's say you just had a play with 6 rooms and it's 6 factorials, which is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 720. So that means there's 720 pathways in 6 rooms. If you have 10 rooms, it jumps up to like almost 750,000. If you have 12 rooms, it's over 1 million pathways. And here's the point, Cassie. Here's the point. If I'm in a room, you're in a room, Betty and I are in a room, let's say we're all in this one room, but we came from our day from different rooms. You came from
Yeah.
working on Cassie's stuff. Betty was working on Betty's stuff. I was working on David's stuff. And so even if we hear a story in the room we're in, we're going to have a different lens of looking at it.
Yeah.
We're going to hear different parts of it as important or as like, I'm ignoring that. And then we're going to come to a conclusion about what it's about. So all those people in the room, since they come from different pathways, unless they're robots, and even then, they're going to come with different interpretations of what went on in the room. Then they're going to say, well, I'm going to follow actor an aristocrat to another room. I'm going to follow the butler because I heard him lying to the maid in another room. So I'm going to follow him and see what kind of spy he is. So there's 2 kinds of spies in Mussolini's mansion. One's that are working for Mussolini, catching the dirt on you and going to arrest you. The second one, they're working to free up the military hero so he awakens from his decadence and starts to campaign against Mussolini. So there's
Okay.
the people pretend. So the characters in each room are not truth tellers. The characters in each room are acting in their spy character, right?
Mhm.
So you are completely, you being the general audience, not you, you are all intelligent, but they are confused as hell and they have to go and relive this play 20, 30 times before they get anywhere near an interpretation. Does that make
Okay.
sense? So it's an exercise in organizational storytelling complexity. But guess
Sure.
what?
Mhm.
The organization is this way. Every
Yeah.
organization, you're working in a department in a room, and you're not working in all the departments. You're not invited to the boardroom always. You're not invited to the manager meetings always. You're not invited,
Yeah.
blah,
This
blah,
is
blah.
always
What
not. Yeah.
university, a corporation, or a hospital,
Yeah.
it's all Tomorrowland. That's my theory.
So yeah, no, this is very real. This is all about like I feel like to go down to like the physicality of it, the different neural pathways, like the different programmings that you've had and how they come together to help you frame your existence. And one thing that this reminds me of is like in the military, because like people are like, oh, you're in the Navy. So like if you weren't in the Navy, you don't know what it means to be in the Navy. But even if you were in the Navy, you have no idea what kind of in the Navy that I experienced versus what the next person experienced. And then there's like even
Correct.
with the duty station, right? Like you had a very different lived experience than I did. And like my interpretation of how things are is very different than the next person's interpretations of how things are. My question about so I'm very skeptical of this ambitious task that you've taken on, and I'm going to say why.
What ambitious task? What task?
Trying to program a robot to be able to interpret something that I think is almost
Oh, that.
to
That's
some
just
degree.
that's just me
Yeah,
playing.
you
Don't worry
agree?
about that.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
what do you
no,
mean?
I
Tell
mean,
me
I
about it.
keep
You just
running
said
into
it.
so many hurdles that there's a book
Well,
just in the hurdles I run into. And it just speaks to the whole thing. People think they can have these AIs and they're going to do all these jobs. It's mostly a lot of hype, and people,
Yeah.
and even these executives are backing off of, oh, we thought it would end all the jobs in the service industry, but that's not quite right. We don't think it's going to end all the jobs now, So they were
well,
hyping it up to get billions invested and just scaring everybody to death.
Question, David. If uh, HR units of the different
They're evil.
companies.
HR is evil.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's why I'm speaking about them. If they think, you'll see I'm going in your direction. If they think that AI is going to allow them to get rid of three-fourths of the people, in the case of the Department of Justice, it was supposed to get rid of the ones who didn't have the kind of mentality that management wanted. But it's the perception that AI will
Yeah,
replace
it's
people. That's
perception.
the
Yeah,
problem. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah. And
perception
Cassie,
versus.
he told me, yeah, before you came, Cassie, he mentioned that he's rethinking his book with the idea of doing cases, and his working on the cases is what he needed to train the AI to accept, because the basis of what he was doing came from what he found on LinkedIn, and the AI had a knee-jerk reaction that no, you can't base anything on what you found on that LinkedIn testimony. So
Yeah,
he's got a problem at the outset.
yeah. I probably should show you the LinkedIn testimony pretty soon, but I
wait,
Yeah.
am going to show it
you
to you because it's a
are
wonderful.
you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I think, are you talking about? So I was saying that I think it's problematic to do this. So my question is like, you're trying to do this to like, what would be the end goal of like what you think this is going to help you do? And then my second
Okay.
question is rewriting which book, the poem book or something else?
Well, I'm in my eighth book now. The last time you were here, I was in book three or something. So I mean,
Okay.
so this is the eighth book in the series. Um,
The series of what?
well, all kinds of explorations I was doing through a tesseract. Do you know what a tesseract is?
No,
Okay. Have you ever seen the movie Interstellar?
no.
Okay, then you're
I live
clueless.
under a rock. Did you forget about me already?
I can try to explain it, but
I can look it up. I'm pretty quick learner. Let me see.
no, your homework is to see Interstellar. But I'll tell you at the get go that Interstellar is a narrative with an ending, and the real
Yeah.
Tesseract has no ending. So,
Yeah.
okay, so in the movie, a character named Cooper, right, and a daughter named Murph. Murph, short for Murphy, I guess, right? He's an
Hmm.
astronaut. He's blown into a black hole somehow and survives. But in the black hole, the Tesseract effect takes hold. And a Tesseract is just like Tomorrowland in many ways. You can
Yeah.
see many rooms, but instead of the limitation, you can only go to one room at a time, you see all the rooms at once and
Okay.
you see what's happening. Now, he chooses a particular room where his daughter is because now she's at a different time than he is. And she's grown up and she has a degree in quantum physics and she's familiar with her dad.
Yeah, I understand. I understand everything now. This is like the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen that movie?
Well, yeah, I got that one,
Yeah.
but it's not quite that far out, but it is
But
close.
it is like, yeah, I understand the premise of it. So you're
She
writing a
does
bunch of
see everything at once and sees no
yeah.
opportunity through other than to be a rock and lay there next to the rock that is her daughter and eventually evolve. But that takes
Yeah.
like thousands of years, maybe millions. Yeah. So yeah, you're in the right zone. So
Yep.
congratulations. Being brilliant is an asset.
Thank you.
So so anyway, um,
I mean, you're always
I'm
talking about this stuff, but I
you've
think I'm
heard
like,
of yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, so like, how is so you're talking about an 8 book series as you're exploring the Tesseract. So like, you're just trying to understand everything from every different angle, and you're just writing a bunch of books about it. Is this the premise of this?
Yeah, except this book, I'm not doing anything spiritual or getting downloads from aliens or anything like that. I'm just going with my own academic training. So this is me
Mm,
book as David. No
okay.
more pseudonyms, just David. And then
David
the
and
AI. The AI is
case
very
analysis.
useful because I say, go find me these cases. What's the context? He'll come back and I'll say, yeah, but you missed A, B, C, and D in your research. Go do it again. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like somebody I
Go
can.
find what cases? Cases of the different chronotopes? Is that what you're saying?
Well, here's the update. So we I got stonewalled on this LinkedIn case. So I actually wrote to the woman who was dismissed from Microsoft as a vice president, as an executive. And because her role was to build AI training, and they decided they didn't need it anymore because they're purchasing all kinds of chips and things to do the training instead of
Okay.
her department. So they laid her off and about 2,000 people, something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on the number, but something like that. So it turns out these different companies like Google, Amazon, IBM, uh, the guy that invented Facebook with the Gemini stuff. Anyway, they're laying off thousands of people to invest in more AI, but so are the Fortune 500 companies laying off people because what Betty said, they heard that human resource management is in league with the strategy of the CEOs and the board of directors, which is what, right? It's shareholder value.
Yeah.
And by declaring humans as a quote unquote tax, that if they eliminate him through AI and robotics and automation, those three things, then they wouldn't have so many people around. They don't have to pay them retirement. They don't have to pay them health. They don't have to pay them overtime. They don't have to listen to their, I can't come in today. They don't have to deal with any of that. And they have robots. So that vision is implanted in the HRM.
Yeah.
So they're going with, they're part of the downsizing mechanism. Does that make sense? They've been part of it since the re-engineering craze in the 1990s with
Oh yeah.
Hamke. So
Okay.
HRM has already been co-opted for, well, 35 years or more, I would say, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so they're thinking that AI can do all of these things, and I'm working with an AI, and I'm finding out it can't do hardly it can do few things, but it can't do all of them. It can't do any of them well, and it can't do any of them as well as I can do as a researcher or an ethnographer or somebody who can go on search engines. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Have you discovered that your prompt has a huge influence on how it performs?
Oh, you have no idea.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
I have an
know.
idea. I built an app for childcare, so with
Ah,
AI.
all
So
right.
You know how torturous it is then, and how many
it's
Yeah.
emails
very
go
difficult
through.
because you feel like you realize its limitations very quickly when you're trying to do something that in your head you're like, this should be really easy if the AI technology was where people have proposed that it is, which is true. I do think there is an unfortunate reality that I feel like this is not a rationalized people space where we're at right now talking. And I do think that like part of the issue and like the misconception, misrepresentation, and what's going to eventually be very problematic is that just like how hard it is for me to get a job as a theoretical qualitative researcher in academia, people don't recognize like the value in this kind of stuff. And then they might not recognize it until they've done enough irreversible damage, right? Like,
Mm.
so
That's that is it
yeah.
in a nutshell. Except Betty and I are going to make sure you get that dream job. We are behind
So guess
Yeah.
what? I got
that.
a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You
I got
You
a
know,
job.
you got a
Cassie.
job already. Well,
Yeah. So
No.
take you
yeah. So
Explain.
weeks.
yeah, Betty, you owe me a review of my paper.
Right. I do want to. I've been out of town, but when I got a chance, it was so long, it took me 2 weeks to read it. But let me just say this plugs into what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
The practical side. I see the practical side of your paper and
Right.
of your thesis,
Yeah,
but it's got to be thrown at people
Yes.
in
Yes.
explicit terms. And I even think I see the areas in which, and I noted them, the areas in which you touch on the reason people would like to look
Yes.
more into chronotopes, cultural, um, uh,
Entrepreneurship.
well, and the storytelling part, we're
Yeah.
all up against the same problem.
Yeah.
Storytelling can easily be reduced to fun and games.
Yeah.
Um, and your work goes in the opposite direction. But just like I said to David, does the prompt have a lot of influence on the
yes.
performance?
Yeah.
Your prompt, literally your prompt for the reader, is to show him where you would like to get that she needs, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because my first idea was this is really cool stuff. It's very interesting, but it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And you do introduce the idea that companies need to be aware of this, but the how could be more explicit.
Yeah, no, I think Ronnie's friend, why am I blanking on his name, gave me Duncan. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Duncan.
Duncan, yeah, he's supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it.
Yeah, so he also gave a review and he gave some really good pointed directions that I can like basically refine my argument to, which is similar to what you're saying. So I was waiting to get your feedback so I
All
could
right.
look
Yeah.
at them together. And then, so by the way, I got a job. It's a 1 year visiting assistant position at James
Great.
Madison University.
Oh, I know them.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good job.
Yeah,
And also they have UVA is going to have 2 full-time
Catch and
jobs
carries
for
there.
2027, and then James Madison will have the full-time job for 2027 as well. So it
All
seems like
right.
it's
Look
end up
up
in Virginia.
Tojo Tachinkari. He's a full professor there.
What is it called?
Tojo Tachinkari. Tatchenkeri.
Tachinkeri.
Tojo Tachinkeri. He and I wrote books together with Bob Gephardt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And,
No, not George Mason. James Madison,
oh, not George Mason. My sorry.
which is
Yeah.
so funny because Ronnie did exactly the same thing.
Okay, tell me
James
about
Madison.
this James Madison. What the heck is
It's
it?
James Madison. James Madison is it's in Harrisonburg, Virginia. It's like an R2, so it's like a balanced school. And it's a teaching all strategic management, all on Monday, Wednesday, trying to make my life as easy as possible. Everybody was
How
great.
many classes? How many classes?
It's 3 classes.
3. Okay. Yeah, I
Huh.
Yeah.
started out there after UCLA. I did a job like yours. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think so what I was just
you
thinking
moving
as I was,
there, or you doing it online?
oh
Sorry
no,
to
I'm
interrupt.
moving. Yeah, we're moving
Oh,
to the
okay.
East
You're going to be
Coast.
our on-site data center person now.
Yeah. So I'm
They got
moving to the
more
East.
there than just about anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so I'm moving to the East Coast. So I was thinking about this as I was getting ready to get on this call because I
Okay.
have the chronotopic rhetorical history paper, which is like I would feel like I would say most complete. But now I'm going back into the job market again, and there's these 3 jobs in Virginia that I really want to target. And so I would like to basically take, I think the most digestible research that I'm doing is the authenticity and legitimacy piece. And so I've theorized in my dissertation the concept of social symbolic entrepreneurship. And
Yeah.
so what I'd like to do is take that theme and draft my job market paper using the content from my dissertation, because I feel like people understand the legitimacy and authenticity as one a lot better than they understand anything else I'm researching.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, that's a good way to do it. Treat them all like dummies.
I mean, well, like if you had only been a fly on the wall for some of my, I mean, it's not that they just don't know,
Yeah, but
right?
look
Like,
at you
Yeah.
got me recommending you. You got Betty. You got
Yeah.
Sotheby, right? They're all recommending you.
yes, I know, but I
So
need to,
you're
I
coming
think, well,
in with golden gloves,
but I think like I feel very like my own pressure that I need to submit something to go under review that's a quality paper. And so I feel like I have I'm 80% of the way there with 2 different lines, which is the chronotopic rhetorical history or the social symbolic entrepreneurship. And
Okay.
so I think I have to just really focus
You can
and like,
focus. I got no problem with you focusing.
yeah,
I'm just saying
make that my
you are
dissertation.
right.
Yeah.
You have good supporters with us
Yeah,
behind you.
I
You're
appreciate that.
articulate. You're interesting. You're gonna
Yeah.
wow them over.
I mean, I feel pretty like good. The UVA had a teaching job. So I already know one of the gals there who does cultural entrepreneurship, and she's the one that referred me to the teaching role that they had this fall and spring, but it's
Oh,
an
good.
adjunct role. So it wasn't like the pay was not comparable to the James Madison job. And so I interviewed with 3 people at their university, and everything went really well. I liked everybody. I think I was received well. Obviously, I got through 3 different people. But then I got this offer. So I reached out to Jeremy right away and I was like, hey, I know you understand this. I have to get a full-time job if I have the opportunity,
Yeah.
but I'm an hour away. So let's keep talking.
Yeah.
No, keep talking, keep interacting.
But if you guys
Yeah.
know anybody at University of Virginia, that's definitely my dream school.
Okay, we're gonna open that up. I don't know anybody that's not currently retired or dead there, but we'll find
Yeah.
So
out.
Well,
Yeah.
well, she said so there's 2 scholars there that I think I'm already in love with. One is Christy, who does cultural entrepreneurship. And then the other one is a girl named Keisha Lashley, and she does stigma in the marijuana industry.
Well,
So
go.
yeah, I mean, it's just a different social evaluation, but I think what's really cool about their school is Christy told me in the email when she referred me to these jobs, she said that it's a very unique atmosphere that they embrace and appreciate high theoretical work and
Good.
also multiple levels of analysis. So like I feel like when I talk to people about how I say that I'm an entrepreneurship OMT, right? Like ONT, like I think people have a hard time with that if they have defined boxes. So I really like that it, like, she explicitly advertised this as an environment where the openness to the reality that the boxes are not as clear as we try to make them be makes me feel like it's a great space for me. And then obviously talking with Jeremy and then one of the Davids. One David was a general faculty, the other David was a research faculty. And they just all seemed very receptive and like open-minded. You know, there's open-minded in academia and then there's open-minded in academia. So
Yeah.
Trust me, 4 decades, I'm familiar with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they're more on this side. So it was just very, I mean, I've been very expressive about how I think this is a great fit for me. And I hope that the feeling is
Oh,
mutual, just like trying
keep in
to,
mind, I'm recording here, and I
Uh,
need to get back on
right.
task and not say too many things about universities right now.
oh,
Yeah.
well, just, I
Yeah.
mean, isn't it okay to say I like them though?
Yeah,
Mm,
it's okay to
I
like
like
them. I
I
yeah.
got
like them.
minutes left, so let me get back on task
Yeah,
and
go.
do that. So here's your task for today. Is there are 4 cases. I'm going to write about 1 or 2 of the cases, or 3, or all 4, whatever you tell me to do during the next week, and report back. So I'm going to write a chapter about it. Um, I don't know how much more I need to explain to you about story analysis, but it does have all the Bakhtinian stuff. It has my stuff from my one of my administrative science quarterly articles, which was 8 month ethnography with transcriptions each week, you know, on a corporation. And it's the one that got me my stripes for full professor, that
Mm,
publication. And it is what it is I take conversational recordings, and then I take the transcript. And in 8 months of transcript, I only found one fully blown narrative with a beginning, middle, end, and enough context that you can understand what they're talking about. Because corporation people speak in codes, just like police do, just like nurses do, just like PhD students do with other students who know about authenticity research or whatever it is, or they know about socioeconomic. So they speak in codes
mm,
because they don't have to explain everything, because there's no newbies in the room. And if there are newbies, they don't want them to know anything anyway or everything, so they speak in code, and the newbie doesn't even know what stories are going down. So that was the big finding, and it's called terse telling and glossing. Comes from my time with Harold Garfinkel, ethnomethodologist, dead guy. You don't even need to worry about him, except he was brilliant. Um,
he was. He was brilliant.
yeah, and so he got me started in listening to fragments and understanding that each word in a conversation could reference a whole story context. But if you don't know the language and you don't know the history, and it relates, Cassie, to your work in history, that
Yeah.
you're not going to know what they're talking about.
Mm,
Yep.
You're only going to be at the surface level and think, well, I don't have anything here for my analysis because there are not really any stories here. So if you
yeah.
identify a story with a beginning, middle, end, and all this kind of character development and a climax and a hero's journey in an entrepreneurial world, then you're going to miss 99% of what's going on ethnographically. So I'm going to leave you with that. But the point is, in the Disney study in Academy Management Journal, which was a big hit for me, I wasn't dealing with transcript. I was dealing with people's books and articles about Walt Disney and Walt Disney's uh, him on film saying this or that. So I was able to triangulate, not a word I really like given quality metrics, but a word you can understand. I was able to coordinate what Walt was saying about himself, what the corporation was saying about Walt, and then what people who worked with Walt were saying that that was completely a false narrative, what was being presented about Walt, the grandfatherly figure. I don't know. We don't need to go on the whole Walt thing, but it is the following point that if I have some bit of expression from a character, I can build the context around it and the Tomorrowland all around that. That was the whole purpose of the Tomorrowland piece. So where I'm going with that in my book is I care about what's happening to all people being laid off around the world in academia, in hospitals, in the service industry, phone call centers, corporations, and even in the vice president of Microsoft, you know? So I care about that whole thing. And I also care about that if sort of deconstructing the whole narrative that AIs are taking over the world, the robotics are taking over the world, that we're all going to be laid off, and either we're going to be um, displaced completely and our brains growing to mush if they're not already with social media. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of just critiquing back as a critical theorist whether these narratives hold any actual substance, you know, or whether they're um, a bunch of hype that does work in the stock market quite well and that has amassed $1.77 trillion of worth for Elon Musk, you know.
Yeah.
No, but
So
isn't that so interesting? There's just like such a concern about when the house of cards falls down, what that's going to look like for our economy, you know?
it's already affecting our economy. And yes, the
But
bubble
I
will
mean,
burst. The bubble will
yeah,
burst. But players like IBM and Microsoft will, and SpaceX will likely persist. And other players, even Anthropic with Claude, may not persist. Um, ChatGPT may not persist, or it might persist. It's got a lot of investors. So there's a whole networking of cross investors going on with these entrepreneurs, if you want to stay in that framework. And we're looking at a mix of different chronotopes going down, you know, all at the same time. You have the romantic chronotope. Oh, AI is going to lead to better productivity. That's going to give you more freedom. We're going to have to hire more workers with more freedom that you're going to have to be creative at work. And it's going to be a socioeconomic dream. And then you have another one that says Rabelisian purge. We're going to just deny that that's what's happening. We're going to say that it's actually the state and the clergy and the rest, not literally, but just to illustrate from Bakhtin. And actually, it's time to speak back to power and purge people of their illusions of these romantic narratives. So the different chronotopes interact. Then you have the idyllic chronotope that says, "Hey, oh, there's Paul. Paul, you are so
Yeah.
late, man. You are
Except
so
that
late.
we
Please
don't
turn
see
on your
you.
speaker and your camera. When you first come in, you say, I want a camera. I want a, a microphone. And then you're in. But we can see that you're making your way through the maze of the AI wilderness to get into Proton. Proton has its own little cute AI, by the way. There he is.
there
It
is
sure does.
echo.
I
Oh, wait,
All
you
right. All right. So now that you're all here, I can explain everything all over again to Paul. I'm going to give you four cases. You're going to choose one, two, three, or four. I'm going to write a chapter on it, present it to you next Tuesday. That is your assignment. Now,
What are when are you showing us the cases right now, or when are you asking us to?
I am going
I
to,
didn't know that you had homework, so I don't know but I'm gonna do it because it doesn't sound like a lot of work.
well, my homework is a lot of work. Yours is just choose A, B, C, or D, or
Yeah,
A
exactly.
or B and C. Let me see. Okay. All right. Go to, I'm going to type it in here. Okay. All right. Let me just ask you if you could do the following. We're going to take 10 minutes. You go to the following address on your browser.
Okay.
It's called,
We're following. Did I miss it?
I didn't tell you yet because
Oh,
the bandwidth is so tight here, I can't even get a message out. So I'm not going to try to play Twilight Zone screen time with you. So
okay.
I'm going to give you 10 minutes to go to the website and you'll see. Why don't you mute yourself, Paul, just for a second?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So go to the website, storying.site. So it's
Wait.
storying.site, storying site. And I prepared in advance today some things that are not quite done, but it'll be fun. So you'll see at the top the title of the new book, Enlightenment Pathways Through the Tesseract. Last week we covered what a tesseract is, and I explained it to Cassie today. So we're up to speed on that. So the introduction just says that we're going to go through the tesseract and we're going to use a series of methodologies. Chapter 0, I like chapter 0, I've been using that lately. It just goes through these are ways to analyze the stories that are in this industry and gives you some pointers on that. And then chapter 1 is the first cases that we're going to explore at all. Now, to find the cases, you can click. There's a link about 3 inches down from the top of the page that says click on this link to see choices for going through the Tesseract or some such thing. Something is worded like that in blue. I think it
I
pops up.
thought so. I don't have
Yeah.
any blue. I have rainbow, and then on the bottom it says 4 live cases, no right answer. So is that what you mean? Oh, enter this. It's purple. Enter this week's room here, or you want us to do the cases?
Yeah,
I've
it's
got
enter
join
the.
Tuesday's open door. I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
have anything. Yeah.
no,
What
Betty,
case?
scroll way further down, and there's the cases are on the bottom of the page, like after the 8.
Oh, okay.
Sit with these 4 live cases, no right answer in either box. That's what you want us to do, David, right?
I think I'm not sure. You might be in a different. There's 2 ways into
No,
it.
this is right. Well,
That's
this
right.
when you
Okay,
do
everybody
story,
go follow Cassie.
listen to my instructions, please, guys. I got it figured out.
All right.
Storying.site, and you go down just past halfway. You'll see the 4 cases, and then it looks like you just answer the 4 questions, and you answer the questions, right? That's
Yeah, I
what you
just
got
want
for
you
us.
to get familiar enough, and you can go do searches out on your search engines or browsers if you want. What cases do you want me to do, or do you want to do all 4 cases at once? Like in Tomorrowland, you could be in one room, and then you could go to another room. You could go to another room. I can't go to 70 million rooms at once, but I can go to 3 or 4 in a chapter and do a complete analysis of that room and the perspectives therein and the pathways. I hope this makes some sense, Paul. Paul will do whatever Paul does and come back with an answer.
This um
So I'm going to pause the recording because that'll.
whether
Yeah, because that won't be interesting to listen to.
are these just like random